Hello, everyone. Welcome to GoLeopards.com. Gary Laubach, Mike Joseph, getting ready for the Princeton Tigers. They'll be coming into town 6 o'clock at Fisher Stadium. It's community night for Lafayette College, so it should be a good night of football and a good night for everybody in their hearts about community night. Let's take a look, just a little bit of a look back to the Robert Morris game. A lesson needed to be learned, and let's hope the Leopards learned it.
Yeah, you and I mentioned it in the booth. Sometimes a loss, especially early in the season, can do you some good later on, and I think that's going to happen for Lafayette. And you're riding high at 3-0. You don't know how good you are. And I said this last year. You never know. You never think you're as good as you are, and you can't believe that you're as bad as you are. So, I think Lafayette's had some good things coming up in the future.
And you make a good point too, maybe about the Princeton Tigers. I'm not sure anybody's quite sure how good they are. Mm-hmm. They could easily be 3-0. They lose by 3 to Lehigh. They lose by 1 to Georgetown, and obviously crushed Columbia just last week. So. How good they are is going to be a little bit of a mystery. We know they're good defensively.
We know they're good, and Coach Devani alluded to the fact that they play good defense, and they held Lehigh, an explosive offense, to just 21 points, and that game was very close at the end. So it's hard to get a feel for how good somebody is, but Princeton always plays good defense. Their offense we saw a couple years ago down at their place was very effective. They go if they're still doing the same things they did, a lot of no huddle, which that's something that defensively John Luce is going to have to combat, is the fact that they are one of the quickest teams to the line and don't huddle at all. So you're going to have to worry about substitution problems. You're going to have to worry about calling defenses from the sideline, so that may be a problem as well.
And the other problem is they have a history of beating Lafayette. They've won 5 in a row. We did not play them last year, but this is a football team that has had our number, and there have been a lot of quirky things that have happened to allow them to win football games over Lafayette. So we almost have to overcome history a little bit.
Yeah, and I think this is a team that can do that for Lafayette. This is a team that is playing better offensively, and we saw a little bit of the running game last week, which I think we can look for effectively this week. Defensively, I think they were embarrassed a little bit in the first half by what happened. Came out in the second half. Didn't have to play a lot of plays, but that's the key to the whole game. And defensively, I look for Lafayette to step up, a few more sacks this week, get back on that turnover rate.
Mike, you played this football game almost all of your life. I'm sure you came off some tough losses. Give me an indication of what's going through the minds of the Lafayette team that came back, tied it at 28-28, only to lose last week.
Well, I think you have to, at the end, hang your hat on the fact that you did come back. And you and I watched Coach Devani gather that team in the end zone prior to going in the locker room 28-7, and a team that was embarrassed, a team that maybe started to question themselves a little bit. But the fact that they came back, and I think they have to hang their hat on that, even though they lost it in the end. It's tough. It's really tough, especially when you got to remember, you're dealing with 18, 19-year-old and 20-year-old kids. These are not professional athletes. These are kids that now have to get on the bus and worry about what tests they have on Monday and Tuesday. So I think they'll get over it quite quickly, especially in the fact that they're 3-0 and they're 1-0 in the Patriot League.
Well, we're both far from being 18 or 19-year-old kids, but we'll be there on Saturday night at 6 o'clock. Please join us on GoLeopards.com and, of course, on the Lafayette Sports Network.